So what does it mean by related rates? When we say related rates problem, it concerns on the relationship of rate of change to time. So ito rin yung sinasabi nating kinalaman ng time sa pagbabago ng quantity. Okay? Given that each variable is also dependent on the others. So ibig sabihin, yung pagbabago ng isang variable ay nakadepende sa pagbabago din ng isa. So katulad ng volume, tulad ng area, surface area, and others. In particular, if y is dependent on x, then the rate of change of y with respect to t is also dependent on the rate of change of x with respect to t. So, ibig sabihin, kung kunwari yung area ay nagbabago base sa pagbabago ng radius, at ang radius ay nagbabago base sa pagbabago din ng oras, so itong dalawang ito may relasyon sa bawat isa. Okay? That is, we say na yung derivative ng y is dependent on the derivative dx over dt. Now, for us to understand this, let's have the first problem. We should let t denote the elapsed time, and if possible, we must draw a diagram of the problem. We select a variable to represent the quantities. So let's say if that is for volume, we have v, height, we have h, and others. Write down the numerical facts. So ibig sabihin, the given must be written down so that we can interpret also the rate of change of the derivatives. Okay. And remember, if a quantity decreases over time, then its rate of change is negative, or the derivative is negative. Okay? So kapag nagde-decrease, ang derivative daw ay negative. Identify what is being asked. Definitely, you have to write an equation relating to that variable and differentiate the equation implicitly, okay, with respect to time. So ito, isa ito sa pinakamahalaga. Nagdi-differentiate tayo implicitly with respect to time. Substitute to the given equation. You should always have equations and substitute kung ano solve natin. And we have the conclusion based on what is asked. And we have to include the correct units of measurement. So a water droplet falls onto a steel pan and creates concentric circular ripples. Kapag inulok mo ang isang droplet o stone o anumang object sa isang pan na hindi gumagalaw or simply at rest, magkikreate yan ng ripples. So pag sinabi mong ripples, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa radius and definitely the area. So let's say the area of the ripple is increasing at a rate of 2 pi square centimeters per second. We're going to find the rate at which the radius is increasing at the instant kapag ang radius daw ay 8 centimeters. Therefore, the first step here is we should know area is equal to pi r squared. If we get the derivative of this area, we have dA over dr is equal to pi r squared, but take note that the radius is relevant or changed based on time. So i-differentiate mo siya, okay, implicitly. So r squared will become r 2 minus 1 product times 2 times derivative of r with respect to time is dr over dt. So ang sabi sa given, nagbabago-bago daw ang area ng ripple 2 pi square centimeters per second. So, ibig sabihin, dA over dr is 2 pi. Okay? With the radius that is equal to 8. Therefore, substitute. dA over dr will now be 2 pi. And this will be 2 pi times the radius, which is 8. And this is dr over dt. Therefore, divide both sides by 2 pi times 8. 2 pi times 8, that is also 16 pi, cancel. So we have 1 over 8 is equal to dr over dt. So what does it mean by 1 over 8? It means to say that the radius of these ripples changes 1 over 8. Okay? Nagbabago-bago ang radius 1 over 8 centimeters per second. Radius is centimeter. Time is in seconds, so we have 1 over 8 centimeter per second. So that is the rate of change of the radius with respect to time. Next, we have a ladder 12 ladder 12 meters long is leaning against a wall. So there is a wall, may ladder, ng haba ng ladder is 12 meters, leaning on the wall. If the bottom of the ladder is being pushed horizontally towards the wall. Ibig sabihin, ipupush mo yung ladder papunta sa wall. Okay? At 3 meters per second. You're going to push it 3 meters per second. How fast is the top of the ladder move when the bottom is 6 meters from the wall? Okay, let's try to understand that. So by representation, we let this be x, this is y. Initially, ang layo nito ay 6 meters. Pero nagbabago daw, ang movement daw as you push that ladder towards the wall. It means to say here na yung pagbabago ng x distance na yan with respect to time is 3 meters per second. Okay? Therefore, and we can also observe here, it follows a right triangle. So, ang gagamitin natin dito is the Pythagorean theorem. That is, okay, x squared. Kakaroon tayo ng x squared plus y squared is equal to 12 squared, which is 144. If we try to realize again, dito sa dx over dt, kasi minumove mo siya towards the wall. So, ibig sabihin, nagdi-decrease ng distansya. At ang sabi natin kanina, when it is decreasing, the derivative must be negative. So, we have to indicate it. That must be negative. Now, another thing here is, we have now the x squared plus y squared is equal to 144, indicating the change of x distance and the change of y distance. Okay, therefore, we differentiate this x squared plus y squared and 144, we have to differentiate it. So we have 2x plus 2y, 2x dx over dt kasi nagbabago din ang x na yan with respect to time, then 2y times dy over dt because also y here is changing with respect to time and that is equal to 0. Now, meron na tayong x value and that is 6. We have dx over dt already, which is negative 3 meters per second. So how are we going to get y here? Kasi ang sinusolve natin dito is the dy over dt. Kasi ang sabi dito, how fast is the top of the ladder? Top of the ladder moving when the bottom is 6 meters. Definitely, or literally speaking, kapag minove mo ito towards the wall, aakyat from the bottom, aakyat itong ladder. Therefore, if we get now the value of y here from x squared plus y squared is equal to 144, we use that to get the value of y. So y must be positive. Definitely because that's distance. So y is equal to 144 minus x squared. So what is x there? 144 minus 6 squared. So y is now equal to, that is now equal to 6 square root of 3. So we need to be exact. Therefore, from this differentiation, implicit differentiation, we are now ready for the substitution. So we have 2 times x, where x is 6. The derivative or change of x with respect to t is negative 3. Okay, already given. And add that to 2y, where y is 6 square root of 3. And we have dy over dt is equal to 0. Okay, so we have 2 times 6 times negative 3. We have that 12 times negative 3 is negative 36. Kasi lipat na natin sa kabila, we have positive 36. Next, we have 2 times 6 is 12. 12 square root of 3. Dy over dt. So we have 12 square root of 3 dy over dt. So from that, we're going to divide both sides by 12 square root of 3. And 36 divided by 12 square root of 3 for us to get dy over dt. Okay, so how will following the correct notation, this must be t, because you're getting the derivative with respect to time. Okay, so we need to follow the notation. Therefore, we will now have dy over dt is equal to 36 over 12 square root of 3. Okay, and then we cancel this out. 36 divided by 12 is equal to 3, so we have 3 over square root of 3. Then we rationalize, so that will be 3 square root of 3 over 3, cancel. So the answer is square root of 3. So what does dy over dt mean? That is square root of 3 meters per second. Yan yung bilis ng pag-akyat ng ladder as the ladder move towards the wall horizontally. Nung i-move mo yung ladder horizontally to the wall, aakyat ang ladder. At ang bilis ng pag-akyat nito is square root of 3 meters per second. That is how we understand this problem. Our next problem is water is pouring into an inverted cone at the rate of 9 cubic feet per minute. If the height of the cone is 10 feet as illustrated and the radius is 5, how fast is the water level rising when the water is 4 feet deep? Ang ibig sabihin nito, ano ang height? How fast is the water changing? So rising, ibig sabihin, we're looking for the derivative of the height with respect to time. And we try to recall the formula in finding for the volume of the cone. Volume of the cone is equal to 1/3 pi r square height. So gagawin natin dito, we need to replace r here, radius. Kasi we're now getting the function with respect to the height. Therefore, using the similarity rule, r over h is equal to 5 over 10. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Which is equal to 1/2. Gumagamit tayo ng triangle, what do you call this one? The ratio proportion. Radius versus the height. Since dito naman sa given natin, 10 ang height, 5 radius. So, that's the ratio of kapag pabago-bago ang radius, pabago-bago ang height. Ang ratio daw ay 1/2. Okay, that's how I understand. So, radius is equal to h over 2. Therefore, from the volume of the cone, papalitan natin ng radius ng h over 2. So we have 1/3 times pi times h over 2 raised to 2 times h. So we have volume is equal to 1/3 pi times h squared over 4 times h. So volume is equal to 1/3 pi h cubed over h over 4. So we have pi h cubed over 12, or can also be written into 1 over 12 pi h cubed. Sa madaling salita, ito na ang tinatawag natin volume of the cone with respect to height. So v of h is equal to 1 over 12 pi h cubed. That is how we understand. Kailangan kasi natin tanggalin itong radius na ito. Kasi in the rule of function, kailangan iisa lang ang dependent variable. Take note of that. Nag-iisa ang independent variable. I mean the independent variable. Kasi sinabi na natin siyang v of h. So we need to replace r with respect to h. That's how we did it. Okay, now let's proceed to the derivative. So we get the derivative of the volume with respect to time. That will be dv over dt. And we get the derivative of 1 over 12 pi h cubed using the power rule. And take note that h here is differentiated with respect to time. So we have 3 times 1 over 12 power rule times pi times h squared, okay, times change of h with respect to time. Therefore, after doing that, we now have 1/4 pi h squared times dh over dt. And what is this dh over dt? That is now what is being asked. How fast, okay, is the water level rising? Therefore, we substitute now the data. dv over dt is the change of the volume with respect to time, and that is already given. That is 9 cubic feet per minute. So we have 9 is equal to 1 over 4 pi height. What is height? It's already given also, that is 4 feet. So times 4 squared times dh over dt. So we have 9 is equal to 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 4 pi times dh over dt. So dh over dt is equal to 4 pi over 9. Well, that must be 9 over 4 pi. Okay, so we have to divide both sides by 4 pi. So that is 9 over 4 pi. That is in feet per minute. So what does it mean? Ang ibig sabihin nito, yung tubig ay 9 over 4 pi feet per minute. Ang bilis ng kanyang paglaki o pag-akyat. Kung nagsimula sa 4 feet deep yung tubig. Okay? That is how we understand. And whenever we say how fast, we always talk about the change. The change of height with respect to time, change of volume with respect to time. It may also happen that you're looking for the change of the radius with respect to time. So pag nangyari naman yun, kailangan palitan ng h ng kanyang corresponding equivalent with respect to r. Okay, so that yung h na dito ay mapapalitan at r na lang, so magiging v of r. So those are some of the possibilities. Okay, so that is what we call the rates of change.